This is a story about a man who was once lost, but then found his way back to God. And while he was searching, he discovered something so important that it changed how people understood Christianity forever. It's a tale of faith, doubt, and the power of one man's journey. So let's dive into the story of Saint Anselm of Canterbury, the man who gave voice to the heart of Christianity. Anselm's story started in a small town in northern Italy around 1033. His dad was a rich landowner who wanted his son to follow in his footsteps and become a noble. But from a young age, Anselm had different plans. Every night before bed, he would pray and ask God to show him what he should do with his life. But God didn't answer right away, so Anselm started to feel hopeless. At 13, he decided to run away from home and join a monastery in France. His dad was furious, but Anselm didn't care. He knew this was where he belonged. In the monastery, Anselm met an amazing teacher named Lanfranc, who taught him about philosophy and theology. But Lanfranc wasn't just a teacher. He was like a father figure to Anselm, guiding him in his studies and helping him grow in his faith. Under Lanfranc's guidance, Anselm blossomed and became a brilliant theologian, someone who could explain the deep mysteries of faith in a clear and understandable way. As Anselm grew older, his reputation for wisdom and piety spread far and wide, drawing students from all over Europe to learn from him. Despite his success, Anselm remained humble and continued to seek God's guidance, always questioning and always learning. As fate would have it, Anselm's peaceful life at the monastery was cut short when King William, the Conqueror of England, chose him to be the Archbishop of Canterbury. This was a huge honor, but Anselm was hesitant to accept. He didn't want to leave his simple life as a monk, but he felt called to serve the church. After much prayer and contemplation, Anselm accepted the position and set off for England. When Anselm arrived in Canterbury, he quickly found himself in conflict with King William the Conqueror. The king wanted the archbishop to recognize his authority over the church in England. But Anselm refused, saying that the Pope was the only one who had that power. This disagreement caused a rift between the two, and Anselm's life in England was filled with challenges. But Anselm stood firm in his beliefs, and eventually King William backed down. Despite the challenges he faced, Anselm worked tirelessly to serve his flock. He established schools and hospitals, and he reached out to other Christian leaders to foster unity. However, Anselm's commitment to the church did not go unnoticed, and soon he found himself in the crosshairs of King Henry I, William the Conqueror's grandson. The king wanted Anselm to support his decision to marry a woman named Ellen, even though she was only 18 years old and against the rules of the church. Once again, Anselm refused, saying that he couldn't go against his conscience. This time, the king was not as forgiving as William the Conqueror had been. He banished Anselm from England, forcing him to live in exile for 3 years. During his exile, Anselm wrote some of his most famous works, including the Proslogion and Cur Deus Homo. In these books, he explored the nature of God and the meaning of the Incarnation and atonement. These theological masterpieces would become cornerstones of Christian thought, shaping the way people understood their faith for centuries to come. After 3 years, Anselm was allowed back to England, but his relationship with the king remained strained. King Henry eventually agreed to annul his marriage to Ellen, and Anselm played a key role in crowning Henry's son Thomas as the new king. However, Anselm's time as archbishop was coming to an end. He had served for nearly 40 years, and his health was failing. In 1109, he died peacefully at the monastery,